What's up, guys? I'm Herbal, and I'm back. We're here to talk about Donovan Sharpe, or D Sharpe as I call him, not so lovingly. Now, D Sharpe is himself a red pill guru. Now, what is the red pill? The red pill is a pseudo community. It's definitely a community. It's a pseudo religion, pseudo movement. Red pill is a community of rich assholes that are basically preying on vulnerable men, kind of like the OnlyFans girls that they hate. And I really think that they hate the OnlyFans girls because they're sort of fighting for the same type of customer. Basically, they're competition, right? So what the red pill community and what OnlyFans girls do is they sort of target men who are lonely and looking for companionship, but they target them in different ways. While an OnlyFans model is there to pretend to be your girlfriend while you pay her for nude pictures, the red pill community is here to tell you that all of the issues that you have are your problem and caused by you. Now, some of the things they say I sort of agree with. Exercising a lot, getting in shape being one of the things, right? Like they also believe in men making more money, bettering themselves. And I think that's good, right? That increases men's self-esteem, that allows them to be able to talk to and to attract women, right? Women like men with self-esteem. But here's the issue. They also say things like depression isn't real.
I don't believe in depression. I do believe in depressing. The idea of clinical depression as a disease, I reject absolutely, and I do not believe in. I believe that certain things can happen that will make you feel depressed. And I believe that it's an evolutionary instinct humans have to warn them that there's something they're unhappy about in their life, right? A lot of people are pretending depression is why their life is shit, when in reality, their life is shit, which is why they're depressed.
Here's how you sum up men's mental health. Stop saying you're depressed and anxious, because the more you say, oh, I'm depressed, the more depressed you'll be. Define it. Define depression in your head right now. What does that even mean? It's a state of depression. That makes no sense. You can't use the word depression in the definition of it. Well, okay, it's being sad. Then be happy. Do something to be happy. Men's mental health can be boiled down really quickly. Something's wrong in your life, go fix it.
Women should be subservient to men, and they also are in favor of one-way open relationships where the man is allowed to sleep with and have as many women as he wants, while the woman is basically stuck at home, cleaning, cooking, doing his bidding, things of that nature.
As you guys know, Angie's my main girl, but we're in an open relationship, open only on my end, of course, closed on her end. But she gets certain benefits that other girls will never get. She's a great girl.
My boyfriend and I are in a fully committed, one-sided open relationship. Oh. I'm not allowed to get with other people, but he's allowed to, get with whoever he wants. Yeah.
I meet all of her emotional needs. She's very happy, so that's why I feel comfortable having the relationship open on my end, and she's good on hers.
They also promote men getting with younger women, not under the age of 18. They specifically say 18, but what they're looking for are women who aren't experienced, right? An 18-year-old woman fresh out of high school who they can manipulate and they can train to do these things, right? When you're dealing with a woman who's 30 and who's been around the block a little bit, it's a lot harder to push the kind of shit that they're pushing on them. Now, you have a lot of different figures in the red pill, right? You have Andrew Tate, who actually is one of the ones that brought the red pill into the public eye. You also have podcasts, Fresh and Fit, and the Whatever podcast. But we are here to talk about one particular bearded, light-skinned asshole. Wait. Me? No. Donovan Sharpe. So, we have a couple of videos of D Sharpe that we're going to go over. The first one is of him talking about Andrew Tate and his reference to Brittany Renner and the things that he said about her. Now, after that, we're going to have a few of his skits, and then we're going to go into how a man like this was created. And then we're going to watch him get married. So we're going to go through a lot of ups and downs. This is Donovan's most viewed video at 620,000. Now, it is a segment of his, I think, first visit to Fresh and Fit. Maybe not. But he was one of the first ones to take Myron's course. Well, not one of the first ones, but he kind of got his start by taking Myron's course, one of his like men's self-help courses, which we'll get into Myron. A lot of the things that Myron says, I think Myron is more of a net positive in the lives of these guys than a net negative, if I'm being honest, okay? Especially some of them. I think just how Myron carries himself and the things that he espouses the most, right? Which is get in shape, make money, be stoic. The stoicism, I think men should be able to show emotions in certain circumstances. I think sometimes we naturally don't show emotions. I tend to kind of hold back my emotions personally. But, you know, I don't think an emotional man is any less of a man than a non-emotional man. I just think there are some cons to being to being able to keep your emotions in check. And there are some I think there are some pros to be able to keeping your emotions in check. Excuse me. And there are some cons to being overly emotional. That's the only thing that I think about that. But I think you should be able to like be vulnerable or open up with your significant other. Definitely, that's somebody that you should 1,000% be able to open up to. But anyway, the first video we have is Donovan Sharpe's most viewed video, 620,000. It was about a year ago, and it's his appearance on Fresh and Fit. So let's start it off.
And this is Brittany Renner, guys.
Oh boy.
So, well, hold on. I'll give you guys a quick little intro to.
So they're talking about Brittany Renner before he even says Brittany Renner is the fucking baby mama of PJ Washington, right? Basketball player, who recently got married to his like longtime sweetheart. But Brittany Renner is the baby mama to PJ Washington. She says the relationship didn't work out because he wanted to be able to sleep with other women. She's not down for that.
I left my child's father for the 89th time. That he's a liar and a cheater, okay? That's the only reason I left. It's just that simple. But for some reason, in the world that we live in today, I am painted as a gold digger, a man eater, all these different things because I chose myself. Because I didn't want my son to grow up and be an asshole and disrespect women. That's it. Like, I wish there was more to this story. I loved him. I thought that was my guy. I'm the only one who's gonna talk bad about him up here. If anybody is gonna be me. We're not doing that. So that's just where it's at. Like,
What was the last straw for you?
honestly, the OnlyFans stuff. And he told me he had like never like purchased anything and like wasn't doing this and this, and like literally I just gotta tell the truth. I had pulled up bank records that he had in the safe that we had, and I saw all these charges, and it was like a 2-year-old lie.
Okay.
Who this girl is? You want to give them the little background on who she is, bro?
Yeah, man. So if you're in any type of social media space, you know Brittany Renner. She's been seen multiple times giving advice to ladies how to finesse athletes, celebrities, and it's more like she's giving people advice to live her lifestyle. But at the same time, her lifestyle isn't always the best and enjoyable for herself. So it's funny to see her make this videos because deep down she's kind of sad herself. But at the same time, it's fun to watch.
Brittany Renner is not kind of sad. Brittany Renner is fucking miserable. She is. Let me say it again. She is fucking miserable. If Brittany Renner could turn back the clock,
I don't think Brittany Renner is miserable. I think what?
and do it all over again, I promise you she would do it differently. Every video that I see, she's always
Like, does he think that Brittany Renner wants to be like the chick that's like sitting next to him holding his hand? Is that what you think? Like Brittany Renner wishes she could do if she could rewind time? Sharp. This is D Sharp, by the way. Notice the beard, the lack of hair, similar to your boy. Except nothing but truths come out of my mouth, and nothing but lies come from his. Okay, maybe not nothing but lies, but you know, I'm sure he's lied.
In her car, it's like, oh, these haters, oh, you guys didn't think of that, oh, you think I'm miserable. No, Brittany Renner, dude, she can't even stand to look at herself. And somebody said something about a narcissist. Brittany Renner is not a narcissist. Brittany Renner's a lot of things. Stupid isn't one of them. It's fucking over for her, because it's just like you said, she's dated rappers and athletes. She can't go backwards. Here's the problem. The men that are forward don't want anything to do with her. Cam Newton, Kirby's like, bitch, I'm not trying to be in your book. Any man with any common sense is not, nobody is trying to be Brittany Renner. Brittany Renner she's really trying to be who I think Selena Powell was kind of trying to be. I remember you and I did a video on Selena Powell's thought training. Like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to be a girl like me.
Yeah.
Ladies, if you want to accomplish anything in your life, you cannot listen to Brittany Renner. No matter what she says on camera, on her TikToks, or whatever the case may be, that woman is fucking miserable, and she knows it. Do not let her try to convince you or anyone else that she is happy with her life. She is a fucking miserable human being, and in her mind's eye, in an honest moment, she would admit that. 100%. There's nothing.
Where are you getting that she's miserable from? Like, what evidence do you have? Have you seen anything that, like, shows, or is it just, like, how you perceive life? You're like, oh, man, if I was a fucking smoking fucking hot rich, she's getting work after work. Zeus hired her for, like, 3 or 4 fucking reunions, bro. She's on all kinds of reality shows. She's getting work, and she's sort of popular at this time, right? I'm sure she's getting paid for appearances. She's making money, okay? She has her own name. Her own name developed, like, I knew her name before I knew her baby daddy's name. And she got famous because of her baby daddy, right? So she sort of developed her own kind of air, right? And I'm not just defending Brittany Renner because she's thick and gorgeous. Maybe a little bit. But listen, okay? I stand with women who are also not thick and gorgeous. Just not as firmly, okay? And not as vehemently. But I digress, okay? I think Brittany Renner is pretty happy where she's at now. That's all I'm saying. I think there's a lot more to life than just like a relationship. She doesn't need a fucking man to make her happy or to provide the lifestyle that she wants to live, because she's able to provide that herself by, you know, doing these like ho-flation books or whatever. That's just my take on it. I'm not saying that I would want my daughter to take that same path, but what I'm saying is that, like, you can't take your set of values, put it on somebody else, and say, this person must not be happy because the values that I set upon my life aren't being met in this person's life. So guess what? She must be miserable. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, I'm telling you, she is clinically depressed.
Yeah, I think see, the thing is that she's teaching women kind of like how to cruise for a bruise, man. And what I mean by that is that, like, and the other thing too is that I don't think women understand this. We're going to talk about this also with the second thing we're going to break down. Once you deal with a certain caliber of guy, it's nearly impossible to go backwards.
Yes.
And the thing is that the older you get,
I don't think so. Like, I've seen women who have dated rich assholes, and then they date dudes who are like plumbers and shit, or like, you know, an electrician, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, like, you know, fucking Theodore makes me happy, you know, that type of shit, right? It's really about who that person is, right? People grow as they get older, and they want different things. It's that simple. And here's the thing: whenever it comes to how a man can better himself, I think fresh and fit kill it. You know, get in shape, eat properly, right? Exercise, these kind of things. But when it comes to what women think and how women are thinking, that's where they kind of fuck up at. Is I don't think they, like, all women are just terrible people in their eyes. That's the whole thing about their shit that I kind of disagree with, is that, like, these women are just these terrible fucking evil people who just can't wait to fucking use a man for his resources and then just toss him to the side. If he doesn't just get in there with his game and his frame and let that bitch know that her place is in the kitchen. So it's like you're taming a fucking evil dragon, that if she doesn't, you know, be forced to stay in your house and be in the kitchen, then she will go out and suck 1,000 niggas' dicks, and she will go out and fucking scam 100,000 niggas out of their money, and she will go out and start an OnlyFans if you don't fucking smack her with a mop and get her back into the fucking kitchen like she's supposed to be. And after that, you find another one so that she can have a sister wife, so that they're not alone, and you fuck both of them. But they're not allowed to fuck anybody else, except for themselves if they want to. But you have to watch. Only if you fucking watch. You know what? Maybe I could get behind the red pill. You know, I'm thinking maybe if these are the outcomes, then
the likelihood of locking these kinds of guys down, comes down with it. And then I remember when I was having this interview with her, I told her, like, why didn't you just make it work with PJ? Well, he wanted to go out and fuck other girls. That was her biggest concern, biggest thing where she disliked. And that's to kind of like let her know, like, if you're with a multimillionaire, an NBA player, celebrity, whatever, they're gonna have sex with other girls. Like, this is what comes with the territory. You think a guy?
Man, Bill Gates was out here fucking so many other bitches you wouldn't believe. I believe Jeff Bezos was probably slinging dick. Elon Musk, has Elon Musk ever been married? I don't know. But Bill Gates, boy, is out here tossing dick around. George Soros, just fucking slanging dick. Just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean you're just promiscuous, okay? That's just what you want to do with your money. It's like you want to use that to be able to fuck 1,000 bitches. If everybody had $1 million, like, do you know there are tons of dudes out there that are like, oh, if I got rich, the first thing I would do is pay for a new house and buy a new house for my girl and get married to her in a lavish wedding with her whole family. You know what I mean? That's what a lot of people would do if they got that fucking, that instant influx of cash. It's not like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna go fucking, scam 1,000 niggas. Like, I don't know. Again, their view of women is just so negative. It's like, why is it so negative?
Guy's gonna bust his ass to become a somebody, a professional athlete, a multimillionaire, an entertainer of some kind, just to have sex with you? By him, that's it? Like, guys that rise to that status do not practice monogamy. They
could you imagine saying this shit?
That's it? Like,
he's looking at this nigga like, man, keep preaching.
Guys that
she's like, bro, could you imagine being like the wife of one of these dudes, hearing that? Because that, like, you is her, right? So he's like, yeah, he can go fuck other bitches, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, to fuck you, like, that's her. Like, it's like that you is, like, literally pointed at her. You might think it's pointed at Brittany Renner, but it's every woman who's in a relationship with a successful man. That's what you're saying. You're saying if you are successful, if you are making millions of dollars, you want to fuck other women, and it's your right to fuck other women. You should be allowed to, because just you isn't good enough for this man. Now, D Sharpe, probably maybe a millionaire. I don't know. Definitely a couple 100,000 there. I would say maybe almost. I don't know his finances, right? But basically, when fucking when Fit is saying that,
an entertainer of some kind, just to have sex with you? But
that is literally talking about her.
That's it? Like, guys,
like, literally, her, because she is the future wife, right now girlfriend, of, like, an entertainer, of somebody that is supposed to be a high value man of status. So she, according to Myron, would not be enough to satisfy him. So he would have to go fucking pipe out these other hoes.
That rise to that status do not practice monogamy. They don't. And if they do, they're fucking lying most of the time. 99% of the time, they're going to have sex with other girls. And you just got to deal with the territory.
In conversations dealing with relationships between men and women always like to say, oh, the fragile male ego. Now, there could be some truth to that. But women are the ones with the ego. So much so that if a man they're with has the audacity to stick his cock in another vagina, the world ends. If other people know about it, right? The girls will sit here and say, again, they'll sit here and say, well, if he were to cheat on me, blah, 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 blah. That's because you're acknowledging it. If he were to cheat on me, in other words, if I were to find out, if everybody else were to find out, because at that point, if you get caught cheating, now your woman has to be seen doing something about it, right? Because if other people know about his cheating, her friends and family, well, okay, well, what are you going to do about it? Okay, well, I guess I'll dump him. And then 2 months later, well, we worked it out, blah, 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 blah. As long as she doesn't know about it, women, they very rarely admit that. But deep down inside, they would admit to themselves, you know what, as long as I don't know about it, then I'm good with it. And that speaks directly to the woman's ego. Confidence comes from within.
You're right. You're 100% right, Donovan. That it's women's ego that stops them from allowing their man to fuck other women. Okay, it's not, the idea of, like, somebody who promises themselves to you being, giving that part of them to somebody else, right? It's not the idea that this other person who is having sex with her husband doesn't, we don't know where she's been. We don't know what fucking STD she has, right? Is he out here getting regular STD checks? Is that what's going on, right? Like, there's a lot of reasons why women wouldn't feel comfortable with just letting some fucking random person have sex with their partner. A lot of it is emotional. A lot of it is like medical, like fucking health wise, right? Like just the sake of your health. Okay, it's not healthy to have sex with somebody who's just out here fucking everybody, right?
Ego comes from the outside. This is why women are so adverse to a man cheating or exercising options, because in public, that's a slight against her. What does she have that I don't have? All of a woman's confidence comes from the outside. That's not confidence. That's ego. You don't puncture confidence because it comes from within.
Bruh, I feel like what you're doing is you're fucking projecting your feelings onto the woman, right? You're thinking that about a guy that's having sex with your woman, right? And we're going to get to D Sharp's story later, but you're thinking about a guy. What does this guy have that I don't have? Is his dick bigger? Does he have six-pack abs? What does he have that I don't have that's making her fuck him instead of being faithful to me, right? I think a lot of the times when a woman cheats, or when a woman catches a man cheating, they want to know more what's going on in his head, right? They want to know, like, what did I do to make him cheat? Not what does she have that I don't have. What did I do to make him cheat? Or what did he, what was it lacking? What was lacking from me to make him even want to look for somebody else, to be even open for somebody else to come in that door, right? There are a lot of different things that are going through a woman's head. I think maybe some of it could be, what does she have that I don't have? But that's more of a masculine thing, right? We're always constantly afraid that there's going to be a man that is a better provider, that is a better hunter, that is more attractive, that's better in shape. We're always afraid that, especially red pill men, right? That, like, because what attracted our women to us are very surface and very shallow, right? Money, looks, right? That's all that it takes for her to leave as well, right? Like, if your health goes, you could have as much money in the world, but if you have cancer and now you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, right? How fast does those millions of dollars fucking run up or run out, right? Is she gonna stick around for that? If she's only with you because you have money and looks, right? But is that what, you only look for in her? If she gets sick, are you just gonna kick her to the side and grab another one? Because it sounds like you are. Okay, there's a lot more to relationships than just money and looks, right? There's actual love, there's connections, there's shit that transcends, looks and money. And I know you guys know that. You guys probably have relationships, but what you guys are doing is you guys are preying upon the guys that have never been in relationships, right? They're wondering what's wrong with me. What did I do, right? So if you're looking at it from their lens, right, their frame of mind, then their message becomes a lot clearer and it becomes a lot more coherent.
You puncture a woman's ego, and what's the quickest way to puncture a woman's ego? Fuck another bitch and let other people find out about it, which is why Brittany Renner was feeling some type of way that PJ Washington was fucking other bitches.
Well, yeah, I mean, girls get so mad when I say this. I always say, like, a woman's primary agency is her looks.
Yes.
Oh, not really, blah, blah, blah. Well, why do you all have fucking makeup on right now? Why is it even during a pandemic you're going to risk your freedom and potentially getting sick with the disease? We'll just call it the...
See, that is right there. A woman's primary, what does he say, agency?
Yes. Oh, no. Girls get so mad when I say this. I always say, like, a woman's primary agency is her looks.
Yes.
Oh!
So, like, the chief thing about her is her looks, right? Like, now, if we're looking at women, again, just in society, I can't disagree with you. But if you're finding a partner, somebody that's, you're supposed to be with forever, it has to go deeper than looks. 100%. Like, looks have to get you through the door, but it has to be personality. It has to be solidness. It has to be, reliability instead of solidness. How about that? It has to be like, love. That's what keeps you there, right? But if you only choose somebody for looks and looks alone, then you're going to end up with, a lot of women that are lacking in a lot of other areas.
Not really, blah, blah, blah. Well, why do you all have fucking makeup on right now? Why is it even during a pandemic you're going to risk your freedom and potentially getting sick with the the disease. We'll just call it the disease, right? Right? Because I remember back in March of 2020, no one knew what the hell's going on. Everyone was like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" I knew girls that were sneaking into hair salons and nail salons to get their shit done, because beauty is that goddamn important, to the point where I'm gonna risk everything to go ahead and look better, right? House calls, all this shit. They didn't give a shit, because women know deep down their primary agency comes down to how they look, bro. There's a reason why they have filters. There's a reason why they take a million pictures to pick one. That's what it is. So a girl being with a successful man, there's no better embodiment to her validating her presence than being with a successful guy. The problem is that they don't understand that there's plenty of beautiful women. Beauty is common. That's right. This guy is rare, and it amazes me, because when we actually do the female delusion calculator on the show, and the girls punch in what they want in a guy, almost every girl is scoring like 4 to 5 cat bags. Of course. You know, for some of you guys that are wondering, like, what's a cat bag score? It's basically a score of how delusional that woman is. They always put a guy in the top 1%. It's ridiculous, dude.
I've said this for years. The reason why women so nonchalantly, okay, he's got to be 6 feet tall, he's got to make 6 figures, he's got to have a 6-foot dick, and this and that and the other, he's got to be ripped, he only has eyes for me. The reason for that is, and I've said this, I've been saying this for years, most men are sexually invisible to most women.
Facts.
So when you ask any rank and file woman, who cheats more, men or women? Well, of course they say, well, men cheat more. No, women cheat more. Women cheat a lot fucking more. The reason why they think men cheat more is because they're only thinking about the top 10% of men. What percentage of men are over 6 feet? 60, 70%? Wrong answer. 14% of men worldwide are over 6 feet tall.
God, bro, you know so many facts, D Sharpe. How do you not know that, like, how do you not know? And I love how I have this ready for you. Who cheats more, men or women? In 2020, the IFS, the International Family Studies, is that what it is? Institute for Family Studies. The IFS released an updated report stating that 20% of men have admitted to cheating and only 10% of women had reported having an affair, with no further breakdown of each age group. The report showed ages 18 to 34 and 65 plus of both men and women have the same infidelity rate of 16%. However, the highest rate of infidelity shifted ages 60 to 69, so they're fucking cheating old as shit. Could you imagine being 69 and fucking cheating on your spouse, bro? God damn, there's no breaking up after that. Oh, check this out. However, the gender gap varies per age. From the same survey data from married adults ages 18 to 29 says that more women are guilty of infidelity, with 11% of women from the surveyed group admitting to having an affair, in comparison to only 10% of men. Okay. But this is what D Sharpe said. It's not like a lot. Cheating on Tinder. Jesus. From the report, 42% of surveyed Tinder users in the U.S. admitted to being married or in a relationship. In the Netherlands, 17,000 Tinder users were polled. 4% of the male participants and 2% of the male participants said that they were online dating. A lot of these are self-reports, though. I will give it that.
They think it's 60 to 70% is because they only visually sexually see that percentage of men. What women need to understand, and I don't think they'll understand it in this generation, but what they need to understand, just like you said, beauty is common. These 1%ers are rare. Where the disconnect with them is they don't understand that the lens through which they view sexual relations is only with the top 10% of men.
Facts.
That's why when you ask these women anything about men versus women or women versus men, their answers are so skewed because they don't even realize that the average rank and file man is literally invisible to them. That's why they're shocked when they hear you guys say stuff like that.
Understand women. He's not going to get laid.
Nope.
Like, it's just not going to happen. You're going to have to understand how she thinks, how she moves. A lot of the times, you're going to have to be 2 to 3 steps ahead of her so you can deal with sexual objections, bring her back to your place. Your place is clean. You have it set a certain place. You have music set, all this other shit. Yeah. You're basically handling.
So when he says sexual objections, what he means is things that could turn a woman off in the middle of your game, right? So if your house is dirty, if you don't have out there, I guess there are many different sexual objections that he comes up with. Not like, her objecting sexual advances, because it sounds like he's talking about rape a little bit when he says sexual advances. I'm just being, good faith.
Objection place, your place is clean, you have it set a certain place, you have music set, all this other shit.
Yeah.
You're basically handling objections before they even come. It's sales, right?
Yes. Oh,
but
100%.
With women, they don't understand what it takes to be attractive to other women. And we have a game on the show all the time where we reveal this. Oh, I can get girls. It's not that hard. Really? Fantastic. Let's go into a scenario. You pick the scenario, and I'm going to be the girl. And it is amazing to me, Donovan, how we literally give them similar objections that regular girls give. Oh, I don't give my number out. Or,
it's fucking crickets.
I'm here with my friends.
Yeah.
Or I have a boyfriend or whatever. We give them simple objections that girls give to guys every single day. They don't know how to handle it.
Nope. They don't know how to handle it. I'll tell you.
But here's the thing, though, right? The way to handle it is just, oh, okay, and then leave her alone. Women have been getting hit on since they were ungodly young by men of all ages. Fucking creeps, okay? Their entire lives. So just the idea, women have developed a sort of shield for all that bullshit, right? So there's certain places where the shield is down, right? Or where the shield can come down, okay? Meeting a random chick at Starbucks or something, or, meeting a chick on Tinder, it's down a little bit because she's looking for somebody. That includes all dating websites. Meeting a chick in, a very social place, like a bar, it could be up or down. It just depends on body language. You have to read it. Definitely, if she's at work, she has her shield up. And she has to be polite to you, which is even more weird on top of that. So, never, ever, ever, I don't care how good or how badass you think you'll ever hit on a chick while she's at work on the clock. Okay, especially if you're a customer. Jesus fucking Christ, that's inappropriate. Never hit on a chick at work if you are working with her. I'm sorry. Don't do it. Let her make the first move if she's going to make the first move. You can't do it because you can misread shit and get your ass fired. It's never happened to me, but I've seen it happen before. Don't do it. When it comes to women in the workplace, be cordial, be polite, keep your distance when it comes to enclosed spaces, that kind of deal. Just being real, being honest. All right. What the fuck was I going into this for again? Oh, yeah. If a woman isn't interested in you, okay, don't try to push the issue. If she says, I don't give out my number, okay, well, you have a good one. That's why the chicks didn't know how to answer that. When it's just if she says, oh, I don't give out my number or I don't do this, well, then if she says she doesn't do that, then the next move is just to leave her alone. Instead of being okay, well, I can try this method of game. No, bro, she's not the one for you. Find a different girl. It's honestly that simple. Sorry.
Tell you what, you guys should do an experiment. It might be like a 2-part episode. Have these girls who think that they can get bitches, have them create a Tinder profile as a guy and then get back with me. Have a Tinder profile as a guy and deal with the fucking bitches on Tinder, on dating apps, and then come back to me and tell me that you can get bitches. I promise you it'll be a different story.
Alexander Grace did that on an experiment. The girl nearly cried. A girl made a profile. She actually used his pictures.
Yep.
And said she was a psychologist, all this other shit, or about to become a psychologist. And she was floored.
She's like, oh my God, they're so flaky. Blah. Welcome to our world, man. Yeah. But just like you always say, we don't expect women to ever give a shit or care about our plight. No. We're just letting you guys know how it is.
They never will. I would argue as technology gets better,
So is the plight that women aren't responding to your messages? And I feel like that's not what you guys specifically are going through, but the guy that's alone right now, who's trying to talk to chicks on Tinder, and it's I don't understand why these chicks are so flaky and not responding. That's what's happening. That's what they're trying to relate to. This nigga has a wife. He's not worried about messages not getting received. These dudes are famous millionaires, right? Especially in Miami, their names are known. They don't have issues with women not responding to them. They're saying this because the fan base that they're watching does have those issues.
Sexual marketplace becomes more and more globalized. Women are going to have less and less and less incentive to understand and or care about what men think. Because at the end of the day, they don't really give a fuck what normal guys think. And they don't think they don't give a fuck what most guys think in general.
Yeah, I would just say once you know the truth, don't get mad at it. Understand it, accept it. And you know what? Cool. Now I know how women operate. I'm going to adapt and maneuver for my best interest. But I will say you brought up a very good point, ego.
Yes.
So when it comes to ego, right, with women,
once I know how women operate, could it be that you were dry in the conversation, that you kept getting overly sexual? You kept talking about her butthole during the conversation. Like maybe she just doesn't want to talk about sucking dick. When's the last time you sucked dick? Did you like it? Did you swallow? Tell me how you did it. Like, maybe after the 1,000th conversation like that, it's a little bit boring. And so when she doesn't respond to you, okay, maybe give her a little slack. It's not all women are evil. It's maybe you should change up how you talk to women, what you talk to women about. Or maybe if you just come in and instantly start trying to demonstrate value, right? Oh, well, I have a Rolls Royce. I'm 6'4". Well, I'm all these different things, right? And she just is like, oh, I'm just kind of looking for somebody to talk to a little bit, right? If you can have a good conversation with somebody, that's 90% of it right there.
That's it, 100%.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's my standards. You should meet my standards always. And it's funny because I added one more thing to that: hope. So what happens is, right?
Oh, good. Yeah.
I ask girls all the time, for example,
wow.
okay, if he cheats on you, you leave. Cool, what's next? Well, I found another guy that won't cheat. I'm like, yo, the guys that you want, the top 10%,
Stupid.
they're probably going to cheat.
That's right.
So you're going to leave one man that's treating you good, that chose you to be his girl, but another man, he's going to cheat too. What's next? Oh, well, I hope I'll find one that doesn't cheat. Once again, ego and hope. That's the two biggest thing there. That's all they have.
That's a fantastic
all they have,
point.
bro.
This is why I tell guys, when you reach a certain level, you're gonna fuck other bitches. Just don't listen, man. Girls don't really care. No matter what they tell you on this set at this very table, they really don't care. The reason why they say they care is because in public, they have to say they care. Because it looks bad to say, well, if my guy cheats, I don't care. That makes them look bad to other women. No, if my guy cheats, I'm going to fucking leave him. But deep down inside, she knows she's not fucking going anywhere because the women that the top 10% of men have chosen, they know their dudes run around on them, but they choose to turn a blind eye because they understand what position they're in. They really don't care.
Women don't want to accept the fact that the reality is men are going to cheat. Their ego once again says to them, you know what?
There you go.
You're a bad bitch. You got your own thing going on. Why should you be cheating? And it's funny because if you break it down even further, they know it's happening. They just don't want to accept it.
And they don't want, well, it's not that they don't want to accept it. They don't want to verbally acknowledge it. They'll accept it, but they won't tell anybody. Yeah. They'll say, okay, I know he's running around, but as long as he doesn't fuck her in my house, as long as he doesn't give me STDs, knock anybody up, as long as she doesn't have to acknowledge it out loud, they're okay with it. They don't even have to verbally acknowledge that they're going to be okay with it. This is why you cannot ask women, if a guy cheats on you, you're going to leave him? She has to say yes. Otherwise...
Bruh, but a lot of those women are not okay with him cheating. A lot of those women put up with it because they would prefer to keep the lifestyle. Some women aren't like that. Some women will say, fuck it, I'll go back to living in the shoebox. Fuck that nigga, right? Some women are like that. Those are the real bitches. Some women will take that shit. Some women don't think it's a big deal, right? Some women are like, sex is sex. It's not really that big of a deal. There's a whole spectrum to this shit, bro. You're speaking about women as if they're one type of thing, one type of person. And the chick that you got here is nodding and smiling away because that's what she's trained and been told to do. And you know what? She's going to do it. She's subservient. We're going to get to that.
She looks stupid. Oh, and by the way, the ego thing, I'll go back to the ego thing. Once again, that comes from the outside. If my guy cheats on me, how's that going to make me look? Oh my God, she took back a cheater. Oh my, what's wrong with her? Yeah. That's all. Girls have the biggest egos. Men, we have egos to an extent, but
we are nothing but egos. The whole prison system is filled with men because of their egos. There are niggas that have lost their life because some niggas stepped on his shoe and didn't apologize. Men are nothing but ego. Are you kidding me? And again, I think it's because of personal experiences that you feel like women have all this ego. You say men have ego to an extent. There are niggas doing life in prison because of nothing but ego. Okay? A lot of them. Not a little bit.
Accomplished comes through confidence, and I think you said confidence.
Competence leads to accomplishments, leads to confidence. Women don't earn their egos. Men do. That's the difference. Like girls get mad. Oh, you have an ego. Men earn their fucking egos.
Right.
Women don't, bro.
No, they don't
at all.
Women get all their ego. If the only reason why women know they're attractive is because the world tells them they're attractive, right?
All right. A lot to take in. I think that outward stimulation, I guess not stimulation, but outward reactions usually tell you something in general, right? What you hear, what you feel, what you see from other people will usually tell you if something that you're doing is right or wrong. If your conscience doesn't already do that, okay? Have you ever like went somewhere, or maybe like you were in like a buffet, and like you did something, like you took maybe some of the, something that wasn't supposed to go on something else, and you see how other people look at you, and they're looking at you kind of weird, and you kind of have to ask, hey, what's going on? What did I do? Oh, you're not supposed to do that. That's like blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Like I have an example of this. When I went to Spain, they had this thing called chocolate and churros, which was like a chocolate fondue and churros, right? But they called it hot chocolate. So it was called hot chocolate and churros. So you take the churros, you dip it into the hot chocolate, and you eat it, right? Delicious. But it was called hot chocolate. So I'm thinking, like, am I supposed to, like, drink the chocolate after the churro? And they're like, no, don't drink the chocolate. They were looking at me crazy because I'm holding this cup of chocolate and I'm sipping it, right? And it's like this, it's basically just like super hot, really thick chocolate. And they were looking at me crazy because that's not something you're supposed to do. And I understood just from their looks, just from their social, just from that social interaction, that I was doing something that wasn't appropriate or wasn't normal, right? So anyway, D Sharpe also does skits. So a lot of these skits represent how he feels relationships should go, what he expects from his women, what he thinks about women in general. Now, the skits are what it instantly turned me on to D Sharpe to begin with. And we're going to get into it. Let's start with this first one. She asked him this and instantly regretted it.
Hi.
Hey, babe, how was shopping?
They're all done with his wife,
Good.
by the way.
I have a question for you.
Sure. What's on your mind?
What would you do if I dumped you?
You wouldn't.
How do you know?
I could easily replace you.
You can't replace me.
All I need is my phone.
Is your phone gonna shop for your groceries?
A few minutes later.
DoorDash, I got a grocery delivery for Donovan.
Okay, well, what about your laundry?
A few minutes later.
Accent?
Yeah, Dave's laundry service.
Okay, well then who's gonna keep the house clean?
A few minutes later.
Daisy's housekeeping.
So what about sex?
Why do you think I hang out with Veronica?
1 minute later.
What the hell? So who's gonna cook for you?
A few minutes later.
Who are you?
Same day meal prep for Donovan Sharpe.
1 minute later.
What about my bag?
What? You mean my bag?
You win. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. There is nothing that today's women can offer to today's men that cannot be outsourced. Love? What do you mean? Like, what are we talking about here, bruh? I feel like this is coming from a sociopath.
Hey, we need to talk.
What do you mean?
I want to make this official.
Trust me, you do not want that.
How do you know?
Because being in a relationship with me is not easy.
Why?
Sweetheart, leave this alone.
No, I really want to know why.
Sleeping with me and being committed to me are two very different, let's say, experiences.
Why?
Do you really want to know?
Yes, I want to know.
Okay. Unlock your phone and hand it to me right now.
If she does this, you do this.
Anything else?
No, I'm fine.
If she does this, you do
So
this.
did I pass the test?
It's a start.
A start? What else do I have to do?
You don't have to do anything, but I will say this. I don't commit to women who go to bars. I don't commit to women who go to clubs. I don't commit to women who travel by themselves. I don't commit to women who go to girls' nights out. And I do not commit to women on social media.
Like, no.
Bruh. So when he says commit, I don't feel like he's out fucking other bitches. I don't feel like he does the one-sided open relationship things. I could be wrong though. I don't see any evidence of that, but man, that's a rough one. No social media, no bars, no clubs. Again, it comes across like you're afraid that she's gonna run into another man that she deems better than you, meaning that she's only with you for physical or shallow aspects, right? And you're afraid that if she finds somebody that's better than you in any one of those aspects, that she'll leave you. You know, that's just what it comes across as.
No social media at all?
I didn't stutter.
So you're saying I can't do any of this stuff?
You're a grown woman. You can do whatever it is you want to do.
So if I reactivate my Instagram, what happens?
That means you've dumped me.
How am I dumping you? It's my IG.
Yes, you did. And in doing so, you engage in the actions of women I do not commit to. Ergo, you dumped me.
This sounds like an ultimatum.
Not at all. This is a choice. You can either choose to engage in behaviors of women I don't commit to, or you can be in a relationship with me, but never both. Are we done?
Damn.
Hey, Chris wants to have lunch with me today.
Your ex-boyfriend?
Yeah,
I don't think I'm very comfortable with that.
we're just friends.
Yeah, but...
You're being insecure. Don't you even trust me?
No, babe. I trust you. Here, take my card. Lunch is on me.
This is how to handle
Hey,
this
Chris wants to
situation.
have lunch with me today.
Your ex-boyfriend, right?
Yeah, but we're just friends and we just want to catch up.
Cool. Have fun.
You're not mad?
Nope.
So I can go?
I am not your father, babe. I am not going to tell you what you can or cannot do. Matter of fact, here, take my card.
Thank you.
Have fun.
After her lunch, her stuff is outside. You owe me $65.74. What? This is what happens when you treat modern women like this.
You're so good to me.
Why do you say that?
You protect me.
Yep.
You take care of my 4 kids.
Yes, I do.
You put me on your new phone plan and you got me a new iPhone.
Uh-huh.
You paid my car insurance even though I have 3 DUIs.
Yep.
You let me borrow $2,000 when I didn't have any money for Christmas for my kids.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay you back, by the way, I swear.
Oh, I know you will.
You buy me stuff.
Yes, I do.
You bought my kids school clothes even though my baby daddies aren't around.
Yeah.
I mean, you do all this stuff and we don't even live together.
Well, that's part of the deal, babe.
You're the best. I'm so lucky to have you.
Cool. So, you wanna go upstairs?
Not now. I'm busy.
And this is what happens when...
I have no idea why I'm
treat them
even
like-
with
wait,
you.
what did they say? And this is what happens when treat them like this. And this is what happens when treat them like this. When you treat them... I think you missed the you, buddy.
I have no idea why I'm even with you.
You here, ain't you?
You don't have a job.
I'm an entrepreneur.
You never clean up.
I'm too tired to clean up.
You cheated on me.
Hey, I was drunk. That wasn't my fault.
You eat all my food.
Hey, I get hungry. You want me to starve?
You spent all my money.
I told you that was an investment for my new business.
All you do is smoke weed and play video games all day.
It's medicinal. It's for the medicine stuff. My back. And the doctor told me playing video games was good for my back.
And you have 3 baby mamas.
But I also have 3 beautiful kids.
You're a straight up bum. Ugh.
Girl, get your ass over here and give me some booty.
Okay.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
Really? The rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, at the end.
Hey, Kim and the girls want to go out tonight.
All right.
Where
next
to?
one.
Cheaters?
Wait, the bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
What, you don't want me to go have fun?
Well, yeah, but I don't want you going to a bar named Cheaters.
You're being insecure. We're just going to have a few drinks.
Yeah, well, if you go, we're finished.
Fine. Hey, Kim and the girls want to go out tonight.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, also, if you notice, he has a blue shirt, so this is the blue pill guy. Then he has the red shirt.
Hey, Kim and the girls want to go out tonight.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay. Have fun.
Oh, no. I'm not going.
Okay.
I was thinking they could come over here for wine and girl talk if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that works. I'll even order you guys a couple of charcuterie boards.
That's a great idea. Thank you. I'll let the girls know.
There's nothing wrong with your woman wanting to spend time with her girlfriends.
But you can have fun with your girlfriends without putting your relationship at risk.
Any woman who wants to go to bars or clubs while still in a relationship
Are women looking to cheat. Period.
304s want girls' nights out.
But quality women want girls' nights in.
Okay. Again, just because you're going to a bar does not mean that you're looking to fuck somebody else. You could just go to a bar because you want to have fun with your friends and just fucking, like, it does not mean that you're specifically looking for dick. Okay? This just anyway.
So where were you today?
Work?
You gotta
So
love
what
the
time did
acting
you get
too,
off?
bro.
5:30. The same time I do every day.
I don't believe you.
Huh?
Are you cheating on me?
Cheating? What the hell are you talking about?
You've been acting very strange lately.
What?
Your phone is always facing down.
I do that to let you know I'm focused on you, not because I'm cheating.
You disappear for 9 hours a day.
That's because I have a job, sweetie.
And you're always talking about Regina.
Regina's my team lead. She's married, has 3 kids, and weighs 300 pounds.
So it is Regina.
Huh? What you just witnessed was the age-old strategy that women use called accuse him of cheating to cover up my cheating, and here's how it works.
Your woman starts cheating on you.
And in order to keep you in the dark, she verbalizes her mistrust of you.
She'll ask, who texted you?
She'll accuse you of lying about your whereabouts.
And eventually, she'll accuse you of cheating.
Not because she actually thinks you're cheating.
But because she knows that if she accuses you,
That you would never suspect her.
there's an age-old adage that the sisterhood has kept top secret for years.
And that adage is that if he accuses you of cheating, then he must be cheating.
Now, in some cases, this might actually be true.
But if your woman is always working late,
Having drinks with the girls,
visiting relatives cross-country,
and engaging in activities that don't involve you,
it is far more likely than not that she is being unfaithful.
but as soon as she even senses that you might be onto her,
She'll accuse you of cheating to take the spotlight off of her.
which puts you on the defensive,
And when you're so focused on proving you're not cheating,
you're not focused on her suspicious behavior.
this is why so many men are completely blindsided by the revelations of their woman's infidelity.
They never suspected anything because she was always accusing him.
And because he was always defending himself.
He never even thought twice about what she was up to.
So if your woman ever comes at you with baseless accusations of infidelity,
There's a 304% chance that she's being a 304.
what Chester and Daisy just demonstrated was why you should never sleepwalk through your relationships.
There is some truth to the whole, like, blaming a significant other because you feel guilty about yourself, but I don't think that's a 304% chance. I know what you were doing there with the numbers. It's dumb. But you can kind of see that most of these skits have sort of the same backbone, right? It's that weak men will be used by these women, who all women are if they have the opportunity, will cheat and steal and use a man unless he knows how to use his red pill techniques to, again, slay that dragon and put her in her position, which is in the kitchen or doggy style or missionary in the bedroom and away from the other black, huge penises that wait for her in the clubs that dare her to cheat with men that are superior than me. At least, according to D Sharpe's fucking twisted mind.
Who are you texting?
Chris.
Wait, Chris, your ex-boyfriend?
Yeah?
What not to
do? Are
do?
you kidding me right now? Right in front of me?
Relax, he's my ex for a reason.
Yeah, but I don't think I like you texting your ex.
Don't you trust me?
Well, of course I trust you, but it's Chris I don't trust.
He's my ex. I can handle him. We're just friends.
Okay, alright. Put yourself in my shoes. What if I were texting my ex?
I'd be okay with it because I trust you.
Alright.
The very next day, even though we're wearing the exact same clothes at the exact same time of day, and our animals are doing the exact same thing. Alright, I appreciate the humor.
Who are you texting?
Veronica.
Big V-Ron.
Your ex?
Yeah.
What the
We literally had this exact same situation yesterday.
What are you talking about?
Wait a minute, are you serious right now?
Yes, I'm dead serious. What are you talking about?
You were texting Chris yesterday, and when I said something about it, you freaked out. And when I asked you how you would felt if I were texting my ex, you said it would be okay because you would trust me.
That was a very different situation.
How?
It just was, okay?
Who are you texting?
Chris.
Your ex-boyfriend, Chris?
Yeah?
Okay. This only works if like fucking she knows, like if she's like literally lying and you were recording her. This is just like you can't rewind the video and say this is what you were doing, bitch. It's not how I don't know. This is some fourth wall bullshit, okay? Alright, let's continue. The only way to handle this behavior.
What are you doing?
Calling an Uber.
Where are you going?
Veronica's.
Your ex-girlfriend, Veronica?
2 points for you.
Why are you doing this?
Because I've decided that I no longer want to be with a woman who texts her ex. But good luck with Chris, though. Hope it works out.
Is that... You thought you did that shit.
Remember, gentlemen, never tolerate disrespectful behavior from your woman under any circumstances. Because the very first time you allow her to get away with it will be the very last time she respects you. Never forget that.
So, Kim wants to go to the club tonight.
Cool. Tell her to have fun.
She wants me to go with her?
Oh, have fun then.
Oh, you're okay with that?
Why wouldn't I be?
Because you said I couldn't go to the club.
No, I didn't say that. I said I don't commit to women who go to clubs.
So if I go, you're gonna break up with me?
Nope. You're breaking up with me.
No, I'm not. I'm just going out with my girlfriend.
And in doing so, you become the kind of woman I do not commit to.
Damn.
A woman who goes to the club.
Damn, the fucking
if I
dreaded
don't
club
go,
where all
will
those
you
big
stay?
black cocks are.
No, I won't.
Why not?
Because there's a BBC.
Because you asked me for permission to engage in an activity that puts our relationship at risk.
But if I don't go, we should be good then, right?
Wrong. Because whether you realize it or not, the fact that you want to go and are asking me to go means you've probably already checked out. Understand this, guys. The very first time she asks you to go to the club or engage in an activity that puts your relationship at risk,
break up with that
She's
bitch.
already checked out. Hey, you want to get it on?
Sure, let me grab a condom.
Don't worry, I'm on birth control.
I still need a condom.
I don't want kids.
Neither do I. That's why I need condoms.
I'm allergic to latex.
I have lambskin condoms.
I'm allergic to that too. I was born without ovaries. I had a hysterectomy yesterday.
Good enough for me. Let's do it.
I'm pregnant.
All right. Again, that was the conclusion. I like it at the very end. All right. Look, we see where D Sharpe's head is, right? We know how he feels about women. We know what he thinks they think, right? They're these evil creatures that want to suck men dry of their resources and just use them for whatever they can before they fucking dump them on the wayside, right? How does a man think this way? How does he get to this way of thinking? Well, just like every supervillain, D Sharpe has an origin story. And this is what I present to you in, for some reason, cartoon. D Sharpe's origin story. How he became D Sharpe. How he took the red pill.
When I opened my laptop to get all the birthday love from my Facebook friends, I noticed that my account wasn't the one on the screen. It was Amy's. And like every red-blooded male, I decided to do some snooping around, and what I saw made me absolutely sick to my stomach. It made me wish I'd never looked. Back in the fall of 2008, I enrolled in paralegal school at a small community college in North Carolina. I was looking for direction in my life and had always been intrigued by the law.
It's probably like 20, 23.
And because at the time I had neither the money nor the discipline to go to law school, I did what I thought was the next best alternative. One of the unexpected perks of being at a community college in a female-dominated field was the guy-to-girl ratio. That semester, I was just one of 4 men enrolled in the paralegal program. There were just over 60 women enrolled, which meant that for every 1 guy, there were over 15 girls. And what's more is that the vast majority of our female classmates were in their early 20s. A lot of them had just graduated from high school. And because of this, that first semester was one to remember. Even though this was a small community college, there were still plenty of off-campus parties on weekends. And those parties facilitated a lot of hookups. As much fun as it was hooking up with our female classmates, it did lead to a lot of unnecessary drama. And as you can probably imagine...
Okay, I don't believe any of this shit happened. All right. A guy that's able to hook up with women this easily, like, oh, I was able to go fucking, is not going to fall into the pitfalls that befall this man here. A lot of what, and this is just my own theory, my theory is that when Sharpe meets the main antagonist, I guess, of this story, which is his female love interest, Amy, it was the first time he was really given attention by women, just because of how he reacts to it, right? The way he reacts is not like a man who was hooking up and had all these crazy orgies the same year that he met this chick, okay? I don't buy it at all.
Imagine things could get pretty messy between classmates. I may or may not have been involved in some of these myself. If I'm being honest, it was almost like being at high school all over again. But I digress. So the second semester rolls around and my first class is Civil Lit. After I took my seat, I caught the eye of a pretty girl who walked in and took her seat right in front of me. She had dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. She was wearing these super tight jeans and a shirt she had obviously cut to make sure everyone saw her navel piercing. This girl was what I would describe as nasty hot. Pretty enough to catch your eye, but dresses in such a way that says she gets around. Now, I was...
Nasty hot? Really? Okay, he has phrases for it. All right, you know what? I'm down. Nasty hot. Cool. So this is like trailer park trash fucking pussy is what you're saying.
Only 31 at the time, and didn't
wait a second, nigga. Hold on. Rewind. How old were you?
In such a way that says she gets around. Now, I was only 31 at the time.
You get played by a fucking 20-year-old when you're 31? Man, that pussy must have been bomb. And it definitely was the first you've ever had. I'm 31, okay? I'm right there where you were at when you got played.
And didn't have much experience with women. I had only been divorced for over a year, and because I didn't get raked over the coals...
Wait. I thought you just said you were fucking running trains on bitches on the first semester. What do you mean you don't have much experience with women?
that says she gets around. Now, I was only 31 at the time and didn't have much experience with women. I had only been divorced for over a year, and because I didn't get raked over the coals, I was still as naive about.
So you had a crazy orgy parties last semester, and you were married, but you don't have a lot of experience with women. Not buying any of that. I don't think the orgy stories happen. I think that you maybe did have a wife, possibly, and you got divorced.
Women as I ever was. So I had no idea at the time that she was the type of girl I should have steered clear of. Her name was Amy, and she was the most beautiful disaster I had ever laid my eyes on. Her deep southern twang and her friendly legs were more than enough to draw me in. Well, it appeared that the feeling was mutual, because we started flirting with each other right away and did so on a regular basis. In my mind, it was only a matter of time before we hooked up. At the end of the week, our instructor gave us a pop quiz on the week's lessons, and the test was old school SAT style. You know, the ones where you have to fill in the bubbles? Well, I didn't have a pencil, so I tapped Blondie's shoulder and said, "Hey, you got a pencil I can borrow?" She said,
"Sure. Make sure you give it back."
"I can't make any promises," I replied flirtatiously. She said,
"Well, if you do, I'll hold you to it."
Equally flirtatiously. I was absolutely smitten by this girl. For the
flirtatiously.
first time in my life, it appeared that a girl liked me as much as I liked her. Not only that, she was easily the prettiest girl that had ever taken interest in me. I
understand. I can understand that, but I feel like aside, was your wife ugly or something? Like, again, she was the prettiest girl that took interest in you. I think that really hits the nail on the head.
Not only that, she was easily the prettiest girl that had ever taken interest in me.
And that's what really sold you on it. Again, because I feel like even back then, you're still very shallow in terms of looks. But I mean, men in general are shallow. But I feel like after a while, you'll learn that having a solid woman is better than having a pretty woman, because a solid woman will hold you down no matter what. And tie you down, if you ask nicely. All right.
Almost couldn't believe my luck. Looking back, I realized that she was probably around a 7, but my inexperience at the time probably had her rated at about a 9. So I aced the quiz, and when Amy asked for her pencil back, I said, "Nobody uses this but me. Got it?"
"Got it,"
she says. I remember getting an adrenaline rush when she said this to me because she looked me right in the eye when she said it. And this wasn't just the type of look that said she was just acknowledging me. She looked at me like she liked me a lot. So she says,
"From now on, we are going to call this the magic pencil, and I won't let anyone use it except for you."
So I said,
"Good girl."
Then she blushed, smiled, then whipped her head around. I honestly felt like I was back in high school. I hadn't felt this way since I was a teenager. It's hard to describe, but it was intoxicating. Well, as predicted, Amy and I dove headfirst into a serious relationship. Things moved very quickly, but neither one of us seemed to think it was fast enough. Hell, we told each other "I love you" less than a week later. We spent every waking moment together. And I mean that in the most literal sense. We were together all day and every single night. We would study during the evening, cook together, watch movies, we'd fall asleep on the couch together, and when we were in bed, we'd hold hands until we fell asleep. I mean, we did all that sappy stuff people do when they are stupidly in love. We even bought matching charms to wear around our necks. Mine was the letter A for Amy, and hers was the letter D for Donovan. I mean, we were inseparable. Amy also took great care of me. She would have my coffee waiting for me if I was running late to class. She would take notes for me if I had a migraine and wasn't feeling so hot. I mean, she moved heaven and earth to make sure I was okay. I remember this one time. I had mentioned to her offhandedly that I had forgotten to bring my lunch. I didn't really think anything of it because I figured I'd just eat a late lunch after school. Well, halfway through my legal research class, I get a text from Amy to come downstairs. And when I got there, she had a Whopper and Coke waiting for me and would not let me go back to class until I ate. I mean, I was absolutely enchanted by this girl. I had never dated a girl this pretty, who treated me this well, who loved me this much. I was head over heels for her. So near the end of the spring semester, Amy and I took a trip to the beach for her 20th birthday, and it was one of the most memorable weekends of my life.
The thing about women is women can be some of the most thoughtful, beautiful, loving people, and then they can fucking make you feel like you're the king of the world. And they can also fucking bring you down 3 times as low as they brought you up, okay, nigga? So watch out. And that's what happens. That's how you take the red pill, right?
It was the weekend that we started entertaining thoughts of marriage and children. We were going to have 2 boys and 2 girls, and they all had names. We were going to live in San Diego, California, buy a house on the beach, and live out our days raising our children and being in love. My birthday was just a few months later, and when I opened my laptop to get all the birthday love from my Facebook friends, I noticed that my account wasn't the one on the screen. It was Amy's. And like every red-blooded male, I decided to do some snooping around, and what I saw made me absolutely sick to my stomach. It made me wish I'd never looked. Before I tell you how that fateful day changed everything, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who calls himself a man. I would also like to remind you that if you want access to tens of thousands of hours of exclusive content not found anywhere, go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. There you will get access to audio and video versions of just about every episode I have ever done from the very beginning. You will also get access to my weekly Zoom calls where I do consultations, coaching, and give advice. Join our community of over 1,500 men who strive to dominate life at patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. Link in description. Okay, let's go back to my 32nd birthday, shall we? So I took screen grabs of what I saw, put it on a flash drive, and drove over to Amy's place.
But do you see? This is how these guys fucking get you with their memberships. Oh, I'm going to do private coaching sessions and I'll do this. It's because they sell the idea. I used to be like you and I fixed myself and now I'm this badass motherfucker and I can teach you how to be the same. That's what Andrew Tate, Sneeko, Fresh and Fit, fucking, I don't think the Whatever Podcast has one, but MLD, all of these guys have this, it's either a website, a Discord server, whatever, but it's somewhere for you to join this community, right, that basically gives money to him. Without that community, they would be nothing. They'd be less than nothing, okay? But it's the community that sells you, right? This motherfucker doesn't know she's going to personally coach you? Come on. You know what? I'm down, actually. I want personal coaching from Donovan Sharpe. I want you to fix my life, Donovan. I wonder how much it would be. I wonder how much he's charging you guys for like personal coaching. I bet it's a fucking shit ton.
Patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. Link in description. Okay, let's go back to my 32nd birthday, shall we? So I took screen grabs of what I saw, put it on a flash drive, and drove over to Amy's place. I sat directly in front of her and said as carefully as I could, "Amy, you know I love you, but I'm going to ask you something and you are going to tell me the truth." She looked at me in stunned silence and slowly nodded. I gathered my thoughts and said, "Have you cheated on me?" Now, I expected her to completely deny everything. In fact, that's what I wanted her to do. Whatever crazy explanation she was going to give me, I was going to totally believe it and blindly put what I saw on Facebook behind me. But that's not what happened. After what seemed like an eternity, Amy said,
"Honestly, yes."
Guys, I cannot describe to you the gravity of the shock and pain I felt at that very moment. To this day, I have never felt that kind of emotional pain. I still get a slight pang in my stomach just talking about it right now. After her revelation, I cried my eyes out, in front of her no less. And of course, so does she. She reached out to me to tell me she was sorry, but I pulled away and told her not to touch me. I got up, ran into the bathroom, and puked my guts out. Then I cried some more. I probably puked 1 or 2 more times, I don't remember, but it was all a blur. When I finally emerged from the bathroom, I yanked off my necklace with the letter A charm and threw it on her couch. Amy cried and pleaded with me not to leave, but I just couldn't deal with what I had just heard. That day at work, I could barely focus. My boss seemed to know something was up because he kept his distance and didn't really ask me anything. But all day long, Amy was calling and texting nonstop, telling me she was sorry, that she'd never do it again, that she loved me, that it was a mistake, and that she wanted to make it up to me, all of the rest of that. It was extremely difficult not to respond because even though I was extremely hurt, I still loved her very much. Those feelings don't just disappear when you learn you've been wronged by someone you love. This is why I always try to be reasonable with men who reach out to me with revelations of infidelity in their relationships. It's easy for someone who is detached from the situation to say, "Just leave her, bro." But when I get that email or that message asking me how to deal with a cheating girlfriend or wife, I always think back to the very moment where Amy told me she cheated.
Could you imagine this is the guy you have to go to when your ladies cheat? This is who you think has the answers? Why the fuck do you think this bald fucking asshole has the answers? All he knows how to do is to get you in that fucking community so you're paying him monthly so that he can continue to live this fucked up lifestyle.
This isn't to say that I don't advise them that that is not the relationship they should be in, but I'm a lot more empathetic in terms of the tone I take when advising someone how to pick up the pieces after discovering their significant other has been unfaithful. Anyway, towards the end of my shift, I finally cracked and called her. As expected, Amy was in tears. She apologized profusely, said she wanted to get married and be my wife, and said she had a surprise for me when she got off work. I took the bait. She came over later that night and brought me a cupcake with a birthday candle in it and gave me a card and a really nice watch I wanted. But the birthday surprises weren't over. Amy turns around, lifts up her shirt, and unveils a tattoo of my name emblazoned in fresh red and black ink on the small of her back. I was back in her clutches. Unfortunately, the damage had been done. Our relationship was never the same after that and was a far cry from what it ever was during that magical spring of 2009. I was always checking up on her, asking her who she was calling or texting, basically all the behaviors I now teach men not to engage in. As you can probably imagine, that got old with Amy very quickly. We got into some pretty crazy knockdown, drag-out shouting matches, and they happened on a regular basis. It seemed like every other day we were screaming at each other for some reason or another. I found out that she had been cheating on me throughout our relationship and that she had been doing a very bad substance that started with the letter H all summer long.
Heroin.
I mean, this was a bad situation. But despite all of that, I was still hopelessly in love with her. And even though things were terrible between us, I still held out hope that we—
How old is this chick? You fell for like a fucking 19-year-old heroin addict? Jesus Christ, bro. Of course it's gonna turn out shitty.
could get through it and recapture the magic we had back in the spring. As if all this weren't bad enough, just over a month after my birthday, her ex-boyfriend was due to get out of prison. And you won't believe what happens next. Amy woke up feeling nauseous and puked her guts out after breakfast. And if you're thinking you might know why this is, I can assure you that you are 100% right.
That bitch is pregnant.
So last week, I told you guys about my relationship with Amy and how it started. I told you guys that we met in paralegal class, hooked up, and got into a relationship that became very serious very quickly. I told you about how magical the spring of 2009 was and how we were the happiest couple ever. I also told you about the revelation of Amy's infidelity and about how it absolutely destroyed me. Well, today, I'm going to give you guys the conclusion of this torrid whirlwind romance and how it ended up sending me to the unlikeliest of destinations which would change my life forever. Now, I know you guys want to hear about Amy's ex getting out of prison, but I need to first fill you in on why he was there, how he got there, and where he fits into a story that's so crazy one couldn't possibly make this up. So after I found out Amy had been cheating on me our entire relationship, my life began a downward spiral that very nearly could have ended my life. The fall and winter of 2009, I became completely unraveled. I fell into a deep depression, dropped out of paralegal school, developed a Coca-Cola habit, was taking illegal painkillers by the handful. I mean, it was bad. I lost my job and my car because it broke down and I didn't have the money to fix it. To make matters worse, my roommate kicked me out because I couldn't pay the rent. Having no place to go, I ended up living with a couple of Amy's drugged out friends. They were a couple who were both in their 30s and both on probation for felony possession. And as you can imagine, the party favors ran rampant in this household. That's part of the reason I developed the party favor habit. The other reason is because Amy was an experienced user herself, and this was even before I met her. So let's rewind about 6 months before I lost everything into a particular day when I had a really bad migraine.
This is literally on you, bruh. If you meet a chick and instantly fall in love with her before you see the signs that she's a crackhead, this is on you. Okay, how do you see a pretty face but not meth mouth? I don't. Okay.
Migraine headache in class. So we're sitting in civil lit and Amy noticed that there was clearly something wrong with me. She had a look of great concern on her face because she had never seen me like this. I was usually pretty talkative in class, but on this day I was as silent as a church mouse and had my head in my hands to shield my eyes from the light, because when you have a migraine, bright lights will make it much worse. Headache, I said to her very slowly to keep from saying too much as it would make this debilitating migraine even worse.
Yep.
Amy reaches into her purse and pulls out a large white pill.
Take this,
she said. What's this? I asked.
It's a Vicodin,
she replied.
Take this and your headache will go away. I promise you.
Now, the only time I can ever remember taking a painkiller that had to be prescribed by a doctor was after I had one of my wisdom teeth removed. But what I did remember was how effective they were. But let's take a moment and think about this, guys. This 19-year-old girl was young, nubile, and appeared to be in perfect health, which was par for the course for most females her age. But never once did I think to myself, what's a 19-year-old doing with Vicodin in her purse? All I knew is that I wanted my headache to be gone. So I completely dismissed the fact that Amy was carrying around a bag full of Schedule II party favors. Well, when we fast forward to the fall, what happened in class explained why she had been using the H-word party favor all summer long.
Heroin.
You see, Amy had
Just
scores
say
of red
heroin.
flags that I had been completely blind to simply because she was pretty and was paying attention to me. Amy's upbringing is the quintessential.
But also because you're not used to dealing with women. Okay? If you can't see some of these like clear red flags, bruh, then you're not used to dealing. Maybe you're better now. Maybe you've dealt with more women now. And then I feel like this experience showed you a lot. But this is not the case for every woman. I feel like you think most women think the same way Amy does, and that's not the case. Okay? When you do heroin and you do drugs of this nature, you're going to suck whatever you need to out of whoever you need to in order to get whatever you need to get that fucking heroin. You know what I mean? So you'll suck these dudes dry of all of their resources, all of their wealth, all of their cum, okay, in order to get the money to fucking fund your habit, right?
Example of a girl with daddy issues. Her mother gave birth to her at 15 years old, and her father left soon after. He'd come back into Amy's mother's life from time to time, but he spent most of his daughter's life in and out of prison. He was physically, Ibisuba spelled backwards, had a drinking problem, and couldn't stay out of trouble with the law. Eventually, he disappeared just after Amy's 8th birthday and was never.
He was physically what?
Out of trouble with the. He was physically, Ibisuba spelled backwards, had a
abusive Jesus
drinking problem and couldn't stay out of trouble with the
children?
law. Eventually, he disappeared just after Amy's 8th birthday and was never found. Amy's mother was stricken with grief because she feared the worst, and because of this, she started drinking heavily, lost her job, her car, her trailer home, leaving her and her young daughter homeless. Over the next couple of years, they bounced from house to house, living with family members and friends. But Amy's mother's proclivities to commingle with men who had substance abuse problems and criminal records got them evicted on more than one occasion. Eventually, they were taken in by a woman who is a longtime friend of Amy's grandmother, who had a 28-year-old son by the name of Ben. Ben immediately took on the surrogate father role and looked after Amy. He helped her with her homework, made sure she got to school on time, and took good care of her in the absence of her father. So for the next 3 years, this patchwork family appeared to be making it work. Amy's mother checked herself into rehab and finally got clean, Amy's grades started to improve, and Ben just landed a great job at a company that had a government contract. Everything seemed perfect until one morning, Amy woke up feeling nauseous and puked her guts out after breakfast. And if you're thinking you might know why this is, I can assure you that you are 100% right. But before I tell you about that crazy situation, let me remind you to like, comment, and share this video with anyone with a Y chromosome. I would also like to remind you that I will be breaking down the most popular dating show, The Bachelor, every Monday evening at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, exclusively on SharpStream. SharpStream is my own private streaming platform where I can speak freely without the concern of getting deplatformed. SharpStream is available to all patrons $5 and up. So if you'd like to watch me break down this historic season of The Bachelor, which features a black man for the very first time, go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. Link in description. Okay, let's get back to my story. So Amy wakes up one morning and pukes her guts out. Now she has no idea why, but her mother most certainly did. And sure enough, Amy found out that she was 3 months pregnant. Even worse, Ben was the father. As you can imagine, Ben was arrested soon after, but what shocked everyone was that Amy was absolutely devastated. She had fallen in love with Ben. Now, the laws currently on the books dealing with this particular situation, which I'm not saying out loud for obvious reasons, requires a mandatory 25-year sentence. But because Amy's testimony somehow convinced the jury that the situation was not what it appeared to be, he was only sentenced to 6 years. His release date, September 16th, 2009, exactly 45 days after my 32nd birthday, which happened to be the day I found out Amy had been unfaithful, which brings me to the end point I left off last week. The day that Ben was supposed to be released, I broke up with Amy. She was crushed, but at the time I was resolute. I was still reeling from all that I had discovered about her, and I knew that there was no way I could handle Ben being around and what that situation had the potential to do. Amy cried and pleaded and begged me to reconsider. She assured me that she was no longer in love with Ben and that she loved me. I wanted to believe her, but I had seen and heard enough to realize she didn't know who she loved, if anyone at all. So I went home and tried to move on with my life, but I failed miserably. I tried to sleep, but I just couldn't. I tossed and turned all night long because I just couldn't get Amy out of my head. The thought that she might be hooking up with Ben at that very moment was just too much to bear. So the next morning,
she literally was sucking his dick right when you were thinking about it too. It's amazing.
morning, I called up a friend of mine, somehow talked him into letting me borrow $800, and went to the jewelry store to buy Amy an engagement ring. As soon as I bought it, I called Amy and told her to meet me at the gas station we used to go to in an hour. And right on time, she pulls up with a couple of friends of hers. She gets out of the car. I get down on one knee and asked her to marry me. True story, guys. I'm telling you, you cannot make this stuff up.
Bruh.
I borrowed money from a friend I knew I would never pay back to buy a ring for a woman I knew I would probably never marry, and asked her to marry me. To my great relief at the time, she accepted. Her friends swooned with delight at their newly engaged friend who is now a bride-to-be. Well, the next couple of months were...
Her friends knew that she was fucking just getting throated by fucking Ben just like literally 15 minutes ago, bruh.
Quite literally the worst 2 months of my life. As you probably have already guessed, Amy eventually started sleeping with Ben, and things couldn't be worse. When she got pissed off at me, she would go and sleep with Ben. When she was mad at him, she would come back to me. This love triangle continued until one night she was arrested for possession. Remember the party favor couple I talked about earlier that I would eventually end up living with? Well,
yeah.
They were the ones that ratted her out. I didn't know she was in jail until I got off work. Her bond, $13,000, which meant it would cost $1,300 to get her out. And between me, her mother, and Ben, we didn't have nearly enough to get her out. So once again, I pulled a rabbit out of my hat and managed to borrow $1,300 from another roommate of mine and got her out. Amy thanked me profusely and swore up and down that she was mine forever. Until, of course, she started sleeping with Ben again. The devastation and heartbreak of this back-and-forth love triangle eventually took its toll. As I explained earlier, I neglected everything. My job, school, work, and eventually lost everything and ended up having to live with the very people who called the cops on Amy. And even then, the back-and-forth love triangle was still in full force until Thanksgiving night when Amy called me to tell me that her and Ben were now engaged to be married. Although I knew this day would eventually come, I was still devastated. I was broke, homeless, drinking every day, doing party favors, Schedule 2 stuff, and now I didn't have Amy. This gentleman was rock bottom. But believe it or not, it actually got worse. So on the morning of New Year's Day in 2010, I was in an alcohol and party favor-induced haze when we hear a knock at the door. When one of my roommates answered, there was a short, bald Jamaican man standing there. I had no idea who he was, but they most certainly did. The man walks in the door, points directly at me, and says in a thick Jamaican accent,
"You don't live here, and if you are not out of here by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, the sheriff is going to come and put you out."
Having finally exhausted every resource I had access to, I called my brother and told him about my situation. He bought me a bus ticket to Atlanta, Georgia, where my mother and brother were living, sent $10 for me to eat on, and that was the last time I was ever a resident in the state of North Carolina. I wasn't really fond of living in Atlanta, having lived there before, and my second stint proved to be equally as disappointing. I knew I didn't want to stay in the ATL, but I had no idea where I wanted to go. I thought about Florida, maybe New York, but I was clueless about where to start the next chapter of my life. Well, a longtime friend I knew back when I was in college in North Carolina lived out in Vegas and had been trying to convince me to move out there for a few weeks. I'd never really considered living there because I didn't really think it was my kind of city. I mean, what could I possibly do in a city like Vegas? So one Saturday night, out of curiosity, I went to southwest.com to see how much a one-way ticket out there would be. I was in complete shock when I saw that the ticket was just $84. I sat there and stared at the screen thinking to myself, am I really about to do this? Am I really about to move all the way out to the West Coast? A few seconds later, I bought the ticket, not having any idea how this would turn out. And on July 10th of 2010, I landed in Las Vegas, Nevada, not realizing at the time that my life would be forever changed. When I think back to the terrible fall and winter that completely destroyed my life, I realized just how fortunate I was not to have been swallowed up by that armpit of a county in rural North Carolina. I could have been arrested because of the activity in the house I was living in. I could have gotten Amy pregnant. I mean, there were so many times where this situation could have gone completely sideways and severely and permanently wrecked my life. But only by the grace of whatever forces out there kept me from falling into this black hole was I able to escape that situation with my freedom and my life. People always wonder why and how I can speak with such conviction when I talk about relationships between men and women. And the reason is, I've had extensive experience. I've slept with more girls than I care to admit. I've been cheated on, cheated with. I've had pregnancy scares, love triangles.
But that's the thing, right? A man who has slept with tons of women will not have fallen for a crackhead. It's because she was the first, probably attractive. I think you said she's the most attractive woman at the time. They gave you attention, right? Probably even to this day still, right? Like, there's a reason why you fell for her. And I don't think, like, you can't You can't use that as an excuse to hate all women. I'm sorry, you can't.
Angles, I mean, you name it, I've been through it. But the one relationship that did by far and away the most damage was the relationship I had with Amy. And to this day, I can freely admit that I have never loved anyone or anything as much as I loved her. Now, obviously, I feel much differently today. If I were to meet such a female these days, I'd have pulled a Bang and Bounce and I'd have been done with her inside of about 6 weeks, give or take. But the fact that I was able to emerge from that situation to not only survive, but to thrive and build what I have built today gives me a tremendous sense of pride. This is why I do what I do. This is why I tell my stories. This is why I teach men about the true nature of women. This is why I became Donovan Sharpe. Thanks for watching.
That's why Donovan Sharpe was created. That's how he was born. Now, every story has a happy ending, right? I present to you a red pill wedding. I had to go far to get this video, okay? Don't judge me.
I need to share the link. Copy the link. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I need to sit. Okay, guys, this is it. We are going to get married. I am now going to give the camera to our guy. Here we go.
This is Donovan Sharpe's wedding. Officiated by him.
No, you can turn it around. There you go.
Jesus, it's upside down.
Let's go.
Hey, turn it. Hey, we're upside down. Turn. You want to flip it or fuck it? It's a red pill wedding. We're upside down. Everything's topsy-turvy anyway.
It says orientation is locked.
Yeah, you can't do it inside. And here we are, guys.
It says orientation is locked. How do you not know how to do this, bruh? How do you not know how to do this? It's upside down. Okay.
Right,
thank you.
Welcome to our wedding. This is going to be a very, very sort of informal thing. There is no, what do they call it? An officiant? Pastor. Yeah, I'm the officiant. Okay.
Yeah, you're the pastor. Thank you. This is like every wedding.
Vows. She's got a few words for.
I'm sure it's not sociopathic or like showing any kind of You're not. I'm sure you're not a megalomaniac if you don't fucking officiate your own wedding. Like what? Get a pastor like everybody else.
I've got some words for her, and then I will, by the power vested in me, Donovan Sharpe. She's my wife. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Gas me up. Hey.
Go. All right. Ready?
I'm ready.
Each day, when we wake up, we choose on earth. You have taught me that the rent is due every day and not to take things for granted. A healthy garden takes watering, pruning, and attention in order to flourish. Thank you for demanding the best in me always. I promise to stand beside you, walk behind you, and be a reliable source of peace for you.
Did you say walk behind
I
you?
promise to show you my love through my actions. I promise to stay. A healthy garden takes watering, pruning, and attention in order to flourish. Thank you for demanding the best in me always. I promise to stand beside you, walk behind you,
Walk
and be a
behind
reliable
you?
source of peace for you. I promise to show you my love through my actions, words, and thoughts. Together our lives are great, and the sky is the limit. I love you, and I'm happy to be your girl. Go Eagles.
You know what? She is way better than this guy deserves. Like, I think she puts up with his shit. I think she, like, really loves this dude, right? And I think that he is settling for her, right? Like, she's the only one who will accept his fucking, just fucking totalitarian bullshit.
Go Birds, baby! Cindy, this has been, it's been a hell of a ride. It's been, and the way we met was very unorthodox. Our relationship is very unorthodox. You're wearing a wedding ring now because, well, you know, there you go. You've been wearing it for 7.5 years. But, you know, like I said, I bring out the best in you, but you make me happy. You really do. I was happy before you. And if you and I decide to part ways for whatever reason, I'll be happy without you. But I'm very, very glad.
I was happy before you, and if we part ways, I'll be happy without you. That's exactly what you want to say on your wedding day.
I have someone like you in my life.
I'm glad you know the assignment.
I've been successful in many ventures in my life, and I've never really had someone like you. I really haven't. I'm glad that I made you into the woman you are today, and I'm glad that you continue to hold that standard. Success is really, really cool to have.
Why are we talking about success? Oh.
But it's much, much sweeter when you have someone like you to share it with.
Okay, that's
And so,
nice.
by the power vested in me, I pronounce us man and wife.
So this is just a party. This isn't like a real wedding ceremony. The red pillars don't believe in marriage because they believe marriage only suits a woman and is only beneficial for a woman. Can I get this recording?
Okay, so
hold on. Why am I dealing with the bullshit? No.
We'll take questions from the audience.
Why do I have the bullshit fucking cell phone cam? Where's this fucking angle?
Okay, so now that we're officially married, I guess we'll take questions from the audience.
Wait.
We're gonna do 10 minutes of questions.
Questions? What? Is that like a normal thing to take questions at your wedding?
Then we're gonna be whisked off by ABC, and then they're gonna grill us. What? After we get cake. All right. Any questions? Questions, comments, whatever. Yeah.
Redpill Meathead wants to know if your life is over now.
Say what?
Redpill Meathead wants to know how you feel now that your life is over.
Your life is over, bro. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. A lot of people ask me this entire weekend, are you excited to get married? Are you excited about the wedding? No. Our relationship isn't going to change. It's just not.
No. How can you say that? Are you excited about the wedding? No.
Okay. What it really comes down to is our love for each other is 1,000% conditional. That's the way it has to be. You don't deserve love just because you think you do. You gotta work for it. You know what I mean? The reason she loves me is because of what I bring to the table, and I love her because of what she brings to the table. If I cease to bring to the table what I bring to the table, she's gotta go, and vice versa. So I love Devin to the moon and back. I really do. And, you know, I mean, we like to talk like, hey, maybe this will work, maybe this won't. I have a pretty good feeling about this.
Oh my fucking God. Our love. Have you heard of that agape love? The unconditional love, the unceasing love? Fuck all that shit. Our love is conditional as fuck. If this bitch if her ass isn't tight, her tits aren't there, if she's not sucking fucking golf balls through garden hoses, then you know what? I don't want her. Okay? And if I'm not bringing home the fucking bacon enough for her to fucking have whatever she wants, then she doesn't want me. And that's how we live. Come on, bruh. She's just in love with you because she's in love with you. And you have her under conditional love. So, yeah.
I think we've done the work necessary to cultivate a good relationship. But the reason why I decided to do this today, Pearl, you actually asked me this, is because she deserves it. You guys who have followed me for years and years, you guys know she's been there from the start. She built the website. She runs all of my back-end stuff. And as uncomfortable as she is on camera, she does it anyway. Trust me, John, she does not want to be on camera today, but she's going to do it anyway. So I'm very, very appreciative of you. You make me look good, even when I don't look good sometimes. And that's really, to me, that's what love is all about. And I want you guys to understand that unconditional...
You make me look good when I don't look good. But does she make you feel good when you don't feel good? Maybe that's what you should say instead of look. Because you look trash regardless.
Love is not for men and women. It's for children and pets, okay? There must be conditions to your love. And this is both men and women. You can't love a man who's not good for you. And guys, you can't love a woman who's not good for you. You don't deserve anything. You have to work for what you get.
You 100% can, and people 100% do all the time love people that are wrong for them. Okay? It's not the best thing. It's not a good thing, but it happens.
And just like Dev said, guys, success is never owned. You never own success, okay? It is leased, it is rented, and dude, the rent is due every day. And if you don't pay the rent, every day, you get evicted. And so that's why we're here.
Sure.
All right, is that it? Alfie, what you got?
Man, I just want to say I'm not even getting married, man, but I'll do it like that. Yeah.
You can't say you can see Pearl right here. Pearl feels very uncomfortable because there's a lot of niggas in the audience.
I was alpha and boss as fuck, bro.
Oh, well. So I'm an alpha male wedding, bro. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Yo, Big Mo.
When you first said, you know what, she deserves this. How long?
So this is Big Mo from Fresh and Fit. Is Fresh and Fit there?
Into it, was it?
About 15 minutes? 15 minutes ago? No,
like 15 minutes in, like when y'all said, when y'all was like, all right, Donovan and Devin, we together.
Yeah.
And now you're like, you know what? This wedding, she deserves it. How long into it?
Yeah, I think it was about maybe 6 or 7 months ago. Because people ask a lot of questions about our relationship. Why don't you get married and this and that and the third? And it's obvious, right? We just didn't want to get the state involved. But believe it or not, the one great idea that came from he who must not be named was the notion of a private marriage. And so, as much as I want to kick the guy's teeth in, I gotta give him props for this because he is one of the main reasons why I'm here now, for better or worse. But it took a while.
Who is he who shall not be named? Is that Destiny?
Yeah.
When I first was coming down to meet you a couple years ago to do your suits, to see you be the first one. I don't know, I'm like, if Donovan Sharpe, I might be going down, you might have a couple women around him, you know?
Right.
Anything's a possibility. But when I went in and, I interacted with you and her, I was like, much more than a hello.
You should not be coughing if you're the cameraman.
Thank you.
Much respect.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And by the way, Aaron Houch, Tailored Carnivore on Instagram. This guy designed all of my suits. He made my pants.
Don't do it.
Custom shirts.
Don't do it because
with my name on
you don't dress well.
But that's
too sharp. Don't.
It's kind of sort of ridiculous. Come out. But I appreciate it. Anybody else? All right, let's see.
I got
wait a
it.
minute.
Sorry, I'm just holding the camera right now. All right, first off, congratulations to you both. I've known you since episode 2. It's crazy that I'm at your wedding now, but
right.
Obviously my girlfriend Marilyn's here. Devin, what advice would you give her? One piece of advice that you would give this young lady right here.
To be just like her.
Familiar where your lines are, because when you start sweating the small stuff, the big stuff actually will blow up in your face. Where you just learn to let the small stuff go and accept it and build on it, not try to change it and
like leaving the cabinets open.
Yeah, you just learn to live. There's some things you gotta learn to accept, learn to live with, and focus on the good things that you are getting from it. And it's really important that one thing I learned is that you need to talk to yourself in the mirror like you're a friend. But a lot of times we don't talk to our loved ones or our spouses like they're our friends as well. And I know that it's cliche to say I married my best friend and all this stuff, but the truth is that if you don't treat each other with respect, always, and that's why I said even in your thoughts, it will bleed through in your actions and your words. And
I feel like you have respect for him, but he does not have the same kind of respect for you. Maybe that's just me.
It will start to deteriorate the relationship from the inside out. So if you have issues, meet them head on. Don't let shit fester. Excuse me. Don't let things fester, and just don't be afraid to say, hey, this bothers me. And, but do it in a way that's respectful.
Just language her?
Timing is. Don't let things fester. It will start to deteriorate the relationship from the inside out. So if you have issues, meet them head on. Don't let shit fester. Excuse me. Don't let things fester, and just don't be afraid to say, hey, this bothers me. And, but do it in a way that's respectfully. Timing is, of course, key.
Of the essence, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you brought concerns to my attention, and you don't always have the best timing, but
But you've got to do it in a loving way. You know, like, hey, this is a concern of mine, not, hey, you did this wrong, you know.
I don't do anything wrong. I'm perfect. God damn it. Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. Appreciate that. Let's have a little bit of fun. Tell the people things that you don't like about me, like my idiosyncrasies.
You're impulsive. And so it's kind of like decide now, figure it out later, which a lot of the things that I have to figure out later, let's be honest, because there's a technical aspect to a lot of these decisions.
Yes, there is.
So while he's thinking on the front end benefits and things, I'm thinking in the background, like, okay,
how's this gonna work? How
am I gonna put these products together to sell the ticket with the product to make this happen and, you know, push the notifications to the admin, what service do we need for this, and, you know, how do we stop this bot attack from this, and we lost this processor. So there's always...
She is way fucking more than he deserves, bruh. She's doing all of this work in the back. She is the reason he exists. She is the reason Donovan Sharpe exists, and he's shitting on women most. Oh, bro, you can't make this shit up, bro. You can't.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up.
The guy that shits on women only exists at the whim of one.
I'm good handling things in the background. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I don't want to be, and that's just always been the way that I am. It's not that because, oh, well, I'm being a submissive girlfriend and all this stuff. No, it's the fact that even when I was working in the restaurant industry, I was working in the kitchen because I don't want to deal with people. But yeah, so I think the things that annoy me about you are things that I can handle, whereas, you know, the things that I think, I don't know, like I would say impulsiveness and shoot first, ask questions later, because sometimes you're not always right, but, you know. What? Sometimes. But, you know, it's
oh, the Redpill, I thought he was going to start choking her. Like, oh. They are people.
Yeah, so, you know, but together as a team, we're not here to prove each other wrong. We're here to reinforce each other and bolster each other up. So.
Right. Yeah. So I leave
cabinet doors open.
Cabinet doors open, refrigerator doors.
Never lock the car.
Nope. No, I never do. I leave doors open, the garage door. Just
all night long.
Yep, all night long. Yeah.
In Philly?
Yeah. Well, we live in. Oh, hey, man. Hey, look, I am not in the hood. I make too much money to be living in the hood. To hell with all of that. I would say
that, and he leaves a trail everywhere he goes.
Yeah. So, socks and paper.
Yeah, to say that the hotel room was a mess is understatement. But it's clean now. You know, it took 5 minutes, but yeah. It's all
really? I thought you'd be in there for like an hour. It was ugly in there. Also, I'm very cool-headed, right?
Yeah. Whatever you say, babe.
How do you handle my temper?
Just breathe. You know, like, honestly, I don't have a very reactionary personality, so
really good.
You know, a lot of times, hey, that's who he is. It's how he vents. I chose him. This is the person I chose. Now, there are things I don't like about him. I blame me. You know, like so. I'm not out to change him, correct him, do anything like that. He's gonna do what he does, and in the meantime, you know, I'll be patient. I'll listen, and I can listen through the anger. I don't. See, I grew up with a yeller.
That's
my dad was a
superpower.
yeller. So yeah, you know, being able to understand what they're trying to say without the emotion and responding to what the actual message is. What are they upset about? And I'm a fixer. I like to go and say, okay, that's an issue. Here's some solutions, rather than be like, why are you so?
Again, way more than this man deserves. Okay, you know what? After Amy, I'm glad you found your wife, bro. And I hope that a lot of this is just like for show, and that you don't treat her like an absolute dog.
Well, yeah, I don't respond to the reaction.
She seems very happy.
I respond to the source that causes the reaction to say, hey, all right, let's fix this problem. And a lot of times, I know better just to keep my mouth shut, go in the other room, let him do what he needs to do. He'll figure it out. Because a lot of times I have to remind myself that he doesn't need me.
Right.
And that is key, is knowing when to just stay the hell out of it, let him work through it. And you know, we'll replace the desks, we'll replace the TVs, we'll replace all of the things that get broken, you know. It's only been about 5 desks at this point, but you know, I mean.
Dude, bar stools, walls, all kinds of crazy nonsense.
Yeah.
God damn, bro.
Yeah, but you know.
Other than that, I'm a nice guy, guys.
But, you know,
You're
like,
breaking shit. You're breaking fucking walls and desks and TVs.
I mean, I've never felt threatened, you know, like, so I understand that people can have emotions without me taking them personally. And I think that's really important. I think that also takes a level of maturity to understand that, you know, women are one way, men are another way.
Right.
You either accept it or you go the other way.
All right, very good. Pearl, you in the front.
How many girlfriends did you have to cut off to make the relationship work? Were there any?
Oh, yes, there were.
Yeah, quite a few. And honestly, like, it really, I just don't even talk about it. I don't try to tell people about my personal life.
Not anymore.
You know, it's like the women that I have gotten, you know, my personal trainers and, you know friends of, you know, his wives are close friends and stuff. You know, they get it. They get it because they see it working. You know, but if you just try to tell somebody about it, it's going to be like, you're crazy. What do you have, no backbone and all this stuff? But it's just kind of like, hey, you know what? When you go through life, you learn from your mistakes. I learned from my mistakes. I ended up with a guy like this.
So he was banging?
If you're going to find a partner who is more laid back and doesn't take charge and doesn't have a backbone, you're going to have a whole new set of problems to deal with, and you're going to end up unhappy and resentful as well. So I'd rather be unhappy and not resentful. Just kidding. But no, it's good because we both have the opposite temperament, so we balance each other out. And that polarity is really important, I think, and that's something that I got wrong early in life. I thought I needed something who matched me in all respects, and like, you know, the yin and my yang, but not realizing that you need that polarity in order to have balance in a relationship.
The polarity.
I got one for you, Devin. So I'm in a relationship, so I want to know what's the clock before the marriage thing. 3 years, 5 years before it starts getting heavy on the clock. You know what I mean? For her to feel like, oh, this ain't for real until like it's the clock.
You know, it depends on where you are in life. You know, if you're looking to start a family, the clock is going to be a lot faster. He and I started this relationship knowing that marriage was probably not going to be on the table for us, especially traditional marriage. We had both been through it before. Trust me, if divorce was as easy as getting married was, more people would not be getting married. You know, so the truth is that we both knew what we didn't want. I knew what I didn't want, but I didn't know what I needed. He provided me what I really needed at that time in my life. So we didn't go in with the clock. We were looking for commitment. Let's see how long we can make this work. And if there's a time clock on it, we say we've been together
7.5, yeah, almost 8 years, yeah.
8 years now. If I was 22, I would have waited maybe a year or two.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the, for a woman, is even though you could be, for her to think, oh, you're just stringing me along, you know what I mean? Like that.
Well, we were both especially me, so heavily invested in him that I wasn't about to put a stopwatch on that. So I think getting her super invested in the relationship,
there you go.
Time, money, resources, you know, getting her like so that she identifies with you. It doesn't matter if there's a ring on her finger or not. She's going to stay with you because she doesn't want to give up on everything, all the work that she's put in. So if it's the easier it is on the woman, I think the quicker the clock starts ticking because they want that reassurance because they haven't fully invested in the relationship.
Wow, that's a girl game for y'all. That's a girl game for y'all. Yeah, one thing that
trained into her
a lot of people, and we'll probably talk about this later in the interview, John. A lot of people kind of scoff at the idea. Oh, you trained your woman and da-da-da. Yes, I trained her. I trained her.
Like a dog. Do you see, though? It's like, yes, I trained her. This is not acceptable, okay? Like, just the idea that she says, oh, you have to get her invested with resources. That is a manipulation tactic. That's literally, okay, taking something and manipulating her with it, right? That's a manipulation tactic. That's using the time and the effort that she put into the relationship in good faith and using that to get her to stay in a relationship where she might not necessarily like all the stipulations that you put forth, right? Like she wants to have a social media, but because she put in this much time, this much effort into the relationship, she's gonna accept your bullshit caveat of, oh, you have to delete your social media if you're with me. Like, it's fucking bullshit.
I trained her, John, and I will say that on camera. And when people scoff at that, they say, well, she's not a pet. I'm sorry. What do companies do when they hire new employees? They train people, right? So you mean to tell me, as a woman, you don't want a man to train you, but you're willing to go to another location, you're gonna let another man tell you how to dress, when to show up, when to leave, when to take a piss, when to go to lunch, when to come back from lunch, but...
Is she getting paid regularly every week or every 2 weeks? Is it an actual job? Or is it a relationship? Okay, when you are at home, okay, when you are in the safety with your partner in your safe space, you're not on the clock. Okay, yes, you put work into a relationship, but it's a labor of love. Okay, it's not the same kind of work that you would have to be trained to do. She's not installing fucking solar panels. Okay, she's supposed to be, you know, loving her husband.
Can't do that for your man, right? Like, that's oppressive, that's toxic, and that's abusive, and that's controlling.
Yes, yeah.
No, if a woman is on your program, then she can stick around. If she's not, she's literally fucking gone. That's the mindset that you have to have. And I'll be honest with you guys, man. I know a lot of guys think that I talk tough and this and that and the other. Make no question about it. I love Devin to the moon and back. If we were ever to part ways for whatever reason, I would be devastated and I would be heartbroken. But I would be okay. And she knows I would be okay. It doesn't give me any pleasure to say that. It doesn't make me sad to say.
It does. It gives you it gives you a little pleasure. You like saying that just a little because you say it so often to her face so much. It's almost like a flex that you're like, I can disrespect her by saying this in her face to her multiple times, to you guys about her multiple times, because it's a flex. That's why you're doing it, to show power, to show dominance. That's what it is.
That's the way it is. That's the way it's always going to be. And I think because she knows that I'd be good with or without her, I think that builds attraction. Women don't want a man whose happiness depends on her. Devin makes me happy, but she's not the source of my happiness. And that is the most important thing. If you're a man watching this, do not rely on a woman to make you happy. She will let you down every time. Every time.
You got her. Yeah, I'll let you down. Yeah.
Last questions? Anybody? Yeah, Mo, what you got?
Dev, what was maybe you could be more than one. What are the most difficult things that you had to compromise and sacrifice for the bigger picture?
Oh man, I had a lifetime of bad habits, and
how did you compromise?
The girl that was like, you know, the only girl in the band and the only girl in the kitchen, and I always put myself in situations that I felt more comfortable around guys. So like, I didn't realize a lot of the behavior that I had developed over the years. These guys aren't your friends. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
we're trying to smash.
Attention from them is not. It's not a reward. It's kind of like, you know, if anything. I didn't realize how inappropriate a lot of like my jokes and my behavior was. I just thought it was normal because that's how I related to my peers. However, even once, you know, my first marriage, I maintained that behavior. I did not treat my relationship with respect. I treated it as a bonus. Like, oh yeah, I behave like this and I'm married kind of thing. The biggest factor, I think, was, and today will be my 1,000th day alcohol free, was not drinking alcohol.
A lot of shit's adding up, okay? This structure helps her with her alcoholism, right? Because she's with this super fucking militant dude who's like on this fucking program, all right? She's not going to be able to drink. He's not going to allow that. Okay. I can get behind that. She's dealing with him for sobriety. Or maybe because she actually loves him. Maybe he keeps her sober and she loves him for it, right?
And it just happens to be today. But that was the source of a lot of this, you know, acting out behavior. And I would act like I didn't do anything wrong all the time. What are you talking about? I didn't, you know.
Oh, I checked that shit
Oh,
quick.
yeah. And it wasn't until I could, like, really analyze my behavior, why I was doing it, what I was doing, why it was disrespectful, you know, how a feminine woman actually behaves. She's still well-liked. She still, you know, makes friends, makes her man look good. All of these things are still, you know, there. that I finally like just looked myself in the mirror and said, okay, I understand what I was doing wrong, why it was, you know, either disrespectful or just obnoxious, let's be honest. And I've learned to just, you know, put his feelings a lot before my own and kind of see my own behavior through his eyes. And even when he's not with me now, like where I was just...
As a partner, you're supposed to put your partner's feelings before your own. But they're also supposed to do the same, so each of you are taken care of by the other person. Okay, it seems like he's putting his feelings above yours, and you're putting his above yours too. That's just what it seems like to me.
My family, you know, I'm saying if Alex was here, how would he respond to how I'm speaking with this person? How my close proximity to this person? Is this family? Is it okay to touch this? You know, give this person, you know, that kind of thing. But now I behave in a way that I'm representing him well, whether he's there or not. And I think that's really important. Now, it's, you know, with you guys, I've been with him since before TSR Live.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So I've heard every episode. I've interacted with many of you in the chat, things like that. And there's a way that I've developed that I can relate and I can communicate and still be appropriate, still represent him well. And that's something that it was very hard to learn. And that's what he says when he says train. That's what he's talking about. Is,
training
you know,
me like
you
a
know, women
dog
are tough,
or an
they can
employee.
do no wrong.
Either way,
And
it's
we
terrible
can
if
make
you're in
it
a
as much as
relationship.
We can do whatever we want, and the truth is that men are the victims of that behavior. The men who care about these women are victims of that behavior. And when these men try to correct that behavior, they're called misogynistic, they're called controlling, they're called insecure, all of these things. But if you ask anyone older, hey, if they saw this on a TV show, they'd be like, ooh, that was disrespectful.
Right.
But, you know, in day-to-day life, these women don't see that. They think that it's okay to continue to behave that way. And it's my hope to show that, you know, showing respect and submission, so to speak, it's a superpower.
Yes, it is.
Because not only do you have what you want out of the situation working for you, you've got him, you know, leading the charge. So if you're both on the same page and you're going forward and you know how to treat one another, I think is most important. You know, younger women today, and even I've seen women, you know, my age, they just don't know how to act. And if you talk to them about that, you know, hey, you know, I was talking to this person, he made a joke, I touched his arm, my boyfriend got upset, we had to leave. Oh my God, why? Well, the reason why we had to leave was because if we didn't, I would have completely forgotten about it and I would have done it again and again and again and again.
So what she is talking about is this was early on in the relationship where at bowling league, and we won that league, by the way. We're at bowling league, and Devin had a feeler, right? And we were all just kind of joking around, and Devin hits him on the arm, right? I said, grab your shit, we're leaving now. It was a one-sided conversation, and how many times has she done that since? Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. Those are the kinds of behaviors and mentalities that are being legislated out of you.
You made her leave when she hit a dude's arm at bowling league? Again, this just seems, it's not disrespectful, it just seems insecure.
And this is why asshole game works. Unfortunately, men, we have to be looked at as assholes, but asshole behavior is just a man standing his ground, man. Sure. Yeah. You know, standing 10 toes down on your boundary standards and expectations. And like I said, and it's interesting, we're getting more pushback now from men than we are from women. So to all those guys, I say, go fuck yourself, man.
Yeah,
like seriously, like because what it really comes down to, man, is you're afraid, dude. And I know why you're afraid.
But we're not afraid. You're the one that's afraid to have his girlfriend go to 7-Eleven or she's gonna suck every cock on the way to the fucking shop, right? You're afraid that she can't hit a guy's arm and make a joke. You're afraid that she's not allowed to make raunchy jokes. You're afraid that she can't go to the club with her friends because she'll just get a fucking train ran on her by every 13-inch cock that's in the fucking thing. Yet you call us afraid? Bruh, you're literally the most insecure motherfucker sitting here with your purple shirt and your fucking weak-ass hairline. All right? Sorry, I went there. Fuck you.
But you can't be afraid to piss off your woman. If you're afraid to piss off your woman, you're in for a world of hurt. You really are.
You're right. Fuck happy wife, happy life. Angry wife, happy life. That's how you do it. Make sure that bitch is mad at you every second of the day.
Really are. All right, one last question. You got it, Mo. You're the man, dude. Yeah.
What was the most difficult bad habit to get out of?
Oh, the most difficult bad habit to get out of her? Oh my God.
That was.
Wait, there were so many.
Jesus Christ.
Well, it could be more than one.
Yeah, like drinking,
I think that was just
drinking,
joke.
sleeping in, definitely.
Like, man, this took a long time to get this bad habit out of her. What was it?
The drinking, that was it.
Yeah,
That was it.
a couple
But,
years.
yeah, it did. But other, like her behaviors, that was, you don't want to, guys, don't change a woman. You cannot change a woman. And you have to influence her habits.
It depends on how hard you hit her, is what he means. Like, bruh, come on.
Habits, guys. Don't change a woman, change her habits. And you don't do that by controlling her. You do that by giving her choices. You can either do this, or you can be in a relationship with me, but you cannot do both.
And if she likes you enough, she'll make the change.
She'll absolutely.
Yeah, just like the fucking skits. He showed us that. You can either do this or be in a relationship with me, that ultimatum. I bet there were a ton of fucking women that chose not to be in a relationship with you just because of it, okay? And but you know what? Maybe not a ton, because I don't really see you doing too well. Like, you make references of like, oh man, there were so many women. I don't think there are a lot of women.
She'll do what you want. She'll listen to you, and she'll follow along. If she doesn't, she's going to be a headache, and what's the point? So.
The key thing is, be persuasive, not manipulative.
I'll take that. That's my King Paradigm, by the way. Yeah, that's it. Hey, yeah, like we know everybody by your screen names.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are like normal greeting people too. But yeah, thank you guys very, very much for coming. We got.
So this is all his community, all the people that sub to his Patreon. That's why he offered up, oh, we're gonna do a Q&A now, because they're his fans. They're not his friends. This is not like a real wedding. Some of these guys are like Mo from Fresh and Fit. There's Pearly in there. But most of these guys are like people that come into his chat and talk to him, and people that he coaches.
Some refreshments here in the back. I've got some health issues going on, so I'm not able to eat as much as I normally am. But we're going to be here for another 15 minutes. Then we're going to go do our interview for ABC and Hulu. Then we're going to come back and we're going to watch the Eagles kick the Jets' ass today. So thank you guys for coming, and that's the wedding.
The most unromantic, the most like, I saw no love there. Okay. But what have we learned today about the red pill? About Donovan Sharpe in particular? A lot of it is filled with very insecure, very, very hurt men. You can either deal with hurt in two ways, right? You can either use it to mold you, to shape you into a better person, or you can use it as a mechanism to blame other people. I'm hurt because of you. It's nothing I did wrong. And the red pill offers a little bit of both. Mostly it's the second one, though. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, notification bell. I've been HerbalRemedyS, and this has been Donovan Sharpe.